Hi, this is Preetha and you're watching Dakshin Curry. Of late I've been getting a lot of feedback and I'm really grateful for that. And one of my viewers has asked me to do dosa special. So especially for that viewer, I thought that today probably I'll start with a very basic and easy to make Mysore Sada Dosa. And to know how to make that, stay tuned. So like I said, we'll be making Mysore Sada Dosa. The ingredients are not too many, very simple ingredients. Let's have a look at that. I'll be using 1 cup of dosa batter here. Apart from that, the other main ingredient is going to be the Mysore chutney, and to make that we'll be using oil, around 1 teaspoon of oil, 1/4 cup of chana dal, 3 to 4 garlic cloves, salt to taste, 4 to 5 dried red chillies, and around half a tablespoon of chopped coconut. So let's start with the chutney. I have a pan here and I am first going to put this on saute mode, and we'll start with the oil. Very little oil actually, not much, just enough to saute the ingredients. And I'll be adding the garlic and the dried red chillies and the coconut. If you want, you can add hing also, but I'm avoiding that. Now this is a traditional recipe. If you go on the roadside and you ask for a Mysore Sada Dosa or a Mysore Masala Dosa, you will find that the chutney is much more spicy. Now this chutney is also going to be spicy, but because I have added coconut, it's going to tone down the flavor a little. Now what you can do is you can omit the coconut. If you want, you can also add onions. If you're adding onions in this, you add around the same quantity of onions as you would add for the coconut. Now as you can see, the chilies are starting to heat up. Now we'll reduce the flame and I'll add the chana dal. Keep all these ingredients aside. Now the idea is to basically toast the chana dal in this, cook it till it's like pinkish brown, and then what we are going to do is add salt and the same process, cool it down and then grind it into a fine paste. Now if you want to omit this, you can also make another version wherein you're just soaking the dal and adding the other ingredients and doing it, but the flavor will be a little more different. You'll have to cook the chutney more when you're making the dosa. In this case, you will not have to do that. I'm getting a mild fragrance of the dal. As you can see, it's just starting to brown a little, and you don't want to brown it too much, just a little. You have noticed that I have not cooked the garlic a lot and the coconut and all. This much heat is enough. We are going to keep it in the same pan, so the carryover cooking will allow the ingredients to cook completely. Now at this stage, what I will do is I will switch off the flame and I am going to cool this down completely, and I am going to add salt according to the taste, according to the proportions, and then I am going to grind it into a paste. So let's have a look at how the paste is going to look. So like I told you, the paste is ready. Let's have a look at it. Now this is how it looks. It's nice and smooth. I have not ground it coarsely, but nice and smooth, so that it's easy to apply it on the dosa. So what are we waiting for? Let's make our dosas. I will be adding some oil. I have a small piece of onion and I have just dipped it in oil. Now usually whenever I make dosas at home, I usually make the first dosa, nice and small, because as the pan heats up, it gets better. So the second dosa, the third dosa gets more crispy. So this is nice. And if you want to check if it's hot enough or not, what you can do is you can sprinkle some water also and check. But as I can see that this is a little hot, let's have a look at the batter. To know how to make the batter, all you need to do is go and do a search for the recipe on Dakshin Curry. You will find it. Now I have used a proportion of 3:1. 3 cups of rice is to 1 cup of urad dal, and half a teaspoon of methi seeds. That's how I've made the batter. Soaked it and then ground it. Batter. And then swirling this. Now what we'll do after this is we'll apply some oil on the sides. Allow the dosas to cook. Now because it's a non-stick tawa, you don't need too much oil. Now you must have noticed that on the roadside, whenever they make these dosas, they cook it only on one side. That's because they make it nice and paper thin. So technically there's no requirement to cook it on both sides. But at home, we don't make it paper thin. What we do is we cook the dosa on both sides. And like I told you, I'll be smearing chutney. Now even though I have roasted the dal and then I have made the chutney, I will be cooking the chutney also a little. Otherwise on the roadside, they usually just smear it, allow it to cook in the heat on one side itself and then roll it up. But we'll be doing it on both sides. So let's allow the dosa to cook. Now because this is the first dosa, this will take some time to color. As you can see, the edges are already coming off. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip it and I'm going to add some more oil. Now at home what we do is we make a small incision in the center right here and also add oil, not required. Now what I'm going to do is I'm not going to cook this completely on the second side. I'm going to cook it just, a little. Now the stage I'm going to flip this back and now I'll be adding the chutney. Now because this is a sada dosa, I'm adding a good quantity because the major flavor is going to come only from this. So around a tablespoon. What we'll do is now spread this nicely. Now this is going to be nice and spicy. So I think a good combination with this dosa would be a good plain coconut chutney. But I personally like to have it with a nice tangy dip, a tomato dip. Now let's have a look. As you can see, this is starting to brown. We will roll this. Our dosa is ready. And these Mysore Sada Dosa is really easy to make. But technically you would pair it with a nice bland traditional coconut chutney. But I have paired it with two specific recipes. One is the molagaipodi with sesame seed oil and with a nice tomato and mustard dip. Now to know how to make these two recipes, what you need to do is just do a search for the same on Dakshin Curry and you will find it. If you like this recipe, share it with your friends, hit subscribe on India Food Network, and until next time, it's Preetha signing off. Bye.